Welcome back, guys. Zell here, and today we're talking about Kershaw's newest entry into the folding knife market, the Kershaw Link 1776. 1776T to be exact for this model, with the glass-filled nylon handles and the tanto blade shape. And this is a rather nice tanto blade shape that we'll get into here in a minute when we get a closer look. For now, let's go over some of the specs. We have a blade length of 3 1/4 inches, a closed length of 4.4 inches, and an overall length, tip to tail, at 7.6 inches. Puts it right in the middle of the everyday carry category, and I have been everyday carrying this knife, and it's went pretty well. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. But for right now, let's get a closer look at Kershaw's Link 1776. Alright guys, let's take a trip around the knife. Right here we have a USA stamp in the glass-filled nylon handles. Moving on around to the back, we have a little bit of kind of useless jimping on this filler piece, and some more useful jimping here on the flipper itself. On to the other side, we have a reversible pocket clip held on by 2 screws that can be swapped over to the other side for right or left-handed carry, a slightly elongated lanyard hole, and Kershaw written right here. And moving on around, get a good look. This knife centers really well. Many times whenever you get a Kershaw knife that's made in some other country besides the United States, they don't center as well, especially whenever we're dealing with a liner lock or a frame lock. But this knife was perfectly centered. I made no adjustments to it. This is how it came out of the box. The flipper on it works rather smoothly. Initially, it was a little tough to get to that breakover point where the spring takes over and flips the blade out. But after a week or so's use, it's gotten to where it's pretty smooth. We'll do it again just because we can. Now, as you notice, I got the one with the tanto blade. However, there's something I want you guys to see here. Many of you, including myself, skip the tanto blades because they give 2 straight surfaces, and sometimes they're not the greatest for everyday use. So I have this little black tool I'm going to slide in here. I want you to look at that. See that? Maybe a tanto blade, but what is normally straight on a tanto blade there has a little bit of a belly to it. And for general cutting tasks, getting through cardboard, paper, all the things that we all get to do every day, that will be an asset over the straight blade. And I just wanted to make sure you guys notice that. Also, once again here, made in the USA, 1776T. Kershaw's not missing any opportunity to make sure that we know that this thing's made in the United States. Operation of the knife has been very smooth, whether we're operating it left-handed or right-handed. I really like Kershaw's design with the liner locks and the flippers. If you watch here, whenever I go to disengage the liner lock and push the blade up with my index finger, it pushes against my thumb. This gives me an indication that it's time to get my thumb out of the way and go ahead and close the blade. Whenever you go about this left-handed, you get the same thing. Index finger out of the way there. See, it touches my thumb. Time to get my thumb out of the way and go ahead and close the blade. I really like that. That's one reason I don't use some of the other brands of knives, and knives without flippers on them, especially if they're a liner lock. And we can look at that too. The liner lock comes out there quite nicely. Knife locks up good and tight. Overall, I think I'm really liking the knife. I chose the glass-filled nylon handles mainly for weight. Whenever you get the aluminum handled version, you're adding approximately an ounce. It's like 0.8. And with all the junk I carry in my pockets, I don't need anything any heavier. And the look of the glass-filled nylon doesn't bother me like it does some. I have many dark knives and gray knives. Have something in just your standard black and silver. I kind of like it. Alright guys, to sum things up about the Kershaw Link 1776T. At the price point, and these are going for $40 or less on Amazon, I don't think you can go wrong. It's a great knife. It's a well-built knife. It just feels good. It feels like quality whenever you put your hand around it. Everything works well. You know, the blade steel, it may not be one of the super steels, but for most of us, it's going to be just fine. I happen to like the glass-filled nylon model. Gives me a little more grip on it. And I like the Tanto blade. As I said earlier, I've carried it for about a week. I put it through most tasks that I would normally ask a knife to do, and I'm pretty rough on them. And it's done fine. Better than fine. I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. And I don't think you will either. There are some things to consider though. This knife is right around $40. For another $15 to $20 in Kershaw's own line, you can get some nicer knives. Have better blade steels in them. And for about the same price, you can get Kershaw's own Leek. And if you're looking for an everyday carry knife, the Kershaw Chive and Leek are some excellent everyday carry knives. The only reason I don't carry them is because I'm a knife abuser. And the Kershaw Link does not stand up to abuse very well. If you're not a knife abuser, the Kershaw Link, probably one you need to check out. But if you're like me, and you abuse your knives, the Kershaw Link I think will serve you quite well, and probably serve you longer than many other knives of similar price. Anyhow guys, I really appreciate you stopping by. And you know, if you wanted to click on that subscribe button down there, or that little thumbs up button, I'd really appreciate it. Anyhow, again, thanks for stopping by. You guys all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.